Hey,
How
Melinda.
are you?
I'm good. I'm looking at our intro there, and I tease Aaron about it because my husband always says that's suburban wife font that Aaron uses.
Well, that's what we are.
Well, yeah, some of us are, some of us aren't. Some of us are, are military moms. Some of us are working moms. Some of us aren't moms at all. Some of us are just
Well,
women.
that's true, but we're all suburban housewives, right? I mean, we aren't
Hmm.
just housewives, we're professionals. Some of us have careers, some of us just volunteer, some of us are active in other things, but we are multifaceted. But
But
that's one
I
we
do
are.
have to say that font is used universally by suburban women, I have
Uh,
to say, and I'm not really
it
sure
might be
why.
read. Hold on, my children are misbehaving. Cooper? No. My dog Cooper likes to play attack my cat Frank, who actually loves it, but they get loud. So I had to scold them.
So the whole point in saying that, we have suburban housewife font is we actually have a great show today that is all about women and women's rights. So the fact is, my point in saying that we get teased about our suburban housewife font is maybe because now it's a little bit more relevant. So I don't care if my husband teases me and says it's suburban housewife font
You know what
because
show
what?
is? Oh, it is
Pardon?
now. Tomorrow. Do you know what tomorrow is? The 28th.
Tomorrow, well, tomorrow is September 28th.
Yes. It
No,
is
wait a minute.
also National Voter Registration Day. So it's a good day to make sure, like check and make sure that you're registered to vote. And also to encourage people that you know that maybe aren't registered to vote to become registered to vote.
Mhm. You can even have, like, a pamphlet or some sort of information in suburban housewife font that encourages people to vote.
Absolutely could.
Mhm.
So that kind of goes along with our show last week with Taylor. So that was
Yes, I get the buy-in, the line in there. So, like, follow, share. This is Cup of Joe with Anna and Sheila, although we have Melinda here. Where in the world is Sheila right now?
was gallivanting all over DC area, going to wineries and hanging out with her hubby and enjoying her vacation. That's what she's doing.
That's what happens when you get a new hip. You get all sorts of travel in you and wanna do different things and can even cross your legs on trains. She was showing a picture where she was crossing her legs. I'm like, "You know what? The things that we take for granted when you don't have hips that work."
And she had toes in there too. Did you notice that? I think that was a homage to you, Anna.
But does she have a coffee table book that has toes
Um,
in it?
so, I
Pictures of
know.
toes.
I did a toe picture for you as well in Italy.
You know what? You should do a toe picture for this weekend.
Oh, okay. I will.
We
Well,
should put it on what?
damn, fabulous. So
Pardon?
if you get to come down here, that would be fabulous if you did a picture too.
We
We
should
could all.
all do our toes in the picture, right? For our caravan this weekend, right?
Yes, we in our neighborhood in Fishhawk, we are going to meet. It's going to be like old times. We're going to meet at Walgreens and have a car parade from Fishhawk down to Tampa with our cars all decorated about women's rights. And then we're actually going to the Our Bodies Our Choice March, which is, oh, I'm sorry, not that one. The March for Reproductive Rights is at 10 o'clock at
Mhm.
MacDill Park down in Tampa. That's the one we're going to. Um,
Okay.
again. And then if we're not exhausted, we'll go to the other one. And then if we're still not exhausted, there's one at 4 o'clock in St. Pete. So you could literally march all day long, which I think would be a great idea.
Well, Melinda, I'm so happy that you brought that subject up, and I would like to learn more. And in
I
fact, we have some people that are on the show that can tell us all about these plans
yeah.
and where to meet and the timing and so forth. What Melinda is trying to do right now, for those that are on the podcast, is she's modeling her shirt for the original Women's March. I think that was right after Trump
October.
was elected.
Oh, this one says October 2nd, 2020.
Okay. Well, the design is still the same
I know.
design.
Yes.
Yeah. From the original one, right.
Mhm.
So without further ado, we have 3 women that have organized different rallies or marches that we're having on the show, and it's really great that we have them all here, and if
Yeah.
only Erin could change the I guess, the runner there or the footer into Suburban Housewife font, we would be ready to go. So the first person we want to introduce, you wanna introduce them all at once or one by one?
I think maybe one by one. Let's start by time. I think that would be the best way to do it.
Okay. So if you don't have anything to do, what's the first thing you're gonna do? Where are you gonna go, Melinda? Who are
I'm
you
gonna
gonna
go
talk
first
to?
to the March for Reproductive Rights in Hillsborough County. There's actually several marches, and I know we could probably add links for those and put that information. I think we've already done that
Yeah, we
on
have.
Cup of Joe, because there's more than just the 3 that we're talking to. There's marches all over, which is awesome, because that's really hopefully going to let the people in Tallahassee know that we do not want to turn into Texas here in Florida. So
That's right.
Anyway, the first march is March for Reproductive Rights. It's at 10 o'clock. It's at MacDill Park in downtown Tampa, and one of the coordinators for that is Christy Hattersley.
Hi, Christy.
Hey, how are you?
So tell us about the march. Tell us about how to get involved and what people need to do, who they need to contact, where they should park, all those kind of things, what they should wear.
Absolutely. Well, wear your favorite T-shirt that talks about reproductive rights, a woman's right to choose. Whatever you have, dig out your T-shirts, because we need to do this all over again. I feel like we just did this, right? But if you go to womensmarch.com, you can find a march that's near you. So if you're not in the Tampa Bay area, go to womensmarch.com and you can find a march that's in your area. The one that I'm specifically working on will take place at 10 o'clock, as Melinda said, at MacDill Park. There's a big parking garage, Fort Brook parking garage, which is in Tampa proper, is probably the best place to park, but there's probably street parking. There are other events that day. I think the Gasparilla Music Festival is going on that day too. So it's going to be very crowded downtown. So try to come a little bit earlier. We're telling people that we're going to start at 10. We'll probably end up going a little bit after 10, but let's aim for 10 o'clock, everyone. But if there are people who cannot make the 3-mile walk, because we will be walking down to Bayshore and back up to the park, we will have a rally in the park. So people can have signs, you can stay behind. If you can't make it at 10 o'clock, come, because at 1 o'clock, we're actually going to march 0.03 of a mile, so much shorter march to Tampa City Hall, and we're going to meet up with our sister march, and we're going to hear from Kristen, I think, in a little bit about that one. So we sort of have, it's not a full day, but we have lots of activities for all different activity levels to take part in
And if you're not registered to vote, I'm going to march for a little bit, because I'm going to be in my electric wheelchair because my foot's still in a boot. So I'm going to go for a little bit, and then I'm turning around, and I'm going to have a table with information for registering to vote and information about the Women's March and other ways you can get involved. So I will be there representing. So, hey!
Yeah,
you should have like a table attached to your wheelchair,
I know.
So you can just go around.
That would be fantastic. I don't think that would work. So I'll just, I'm actually trying to help out with just coming back and helping man some tables for people that are wanting, maybe they didn't get there on time or they couldn't find parking. You never know what happens, and I can just point them in the right direction. So
yeah, I think what we really want to do is just give people options of what they can do during that day, in Tampa proper as well. I can't take full credit. I got involved in this. Destiny Rummel actually started all of this. So I want to give her a big shout out for actually putting it on the calendar. I tracked her down, and then there's 2 other hosts, Desiree Rochelle and Chris Daniels. So I just want to talk about the amazing work that they've done. We're in touch with Tampa Police, so we will have some police presence there to help guide us, make sure that we're not blocking traffic, make sure people are safe. We do have a lot of safety protocols in place, because that's very important. It is our first priority to make sure that people feel safe on this march as well. So we know it's going to be hot outside. We'll have water for folks, and do everything we can to make everybody as comfortable as possible.
And you can still donate. I'm actually meeting Destiny tomorrow to take, I've got 2 big things of water from Costco that I'm taking to her. So you can still donate, and there's an Amazon page, a wish list, so there's still time to get that in if you want to donate to the cause.
We were very lucky that we applied for a grant from womensmarch.com, and we got a $5,000 grant as well for the march to be able to provide some of these things. We're able to buy first aid kits and safety vests and water and snacks and, you know, all of the things that go into putting this march together. But we are to any and all donations as well of anything that you think that we could use on that day. I mean, this is a team effort. That's the neat part about this, is I feel like I didn't even know these women before I started working with them, and they are amazing and fantastic and motivated. And I'm excited to see who shows up at all of these marches across Tampa Bay.
I have to tell you, I am so excited to get our group together from our neighborhood, because we would march every single weekend. We would have a car parade, and we would go out and campaign for Joe and for Scott Heitenstein, and had so much fun. And then all of a sudden it was like lonely, because we weren't seeing, I mean, we were doing like sign waving and doing a couple of things every day during, you know, the campaign, and then we weren't. So I'm so happy that we get a chance to get together. I'm sad that it's because of this, because listen, I've been marching for this stuff since I was 18 years old in college. So I cannot believe that we're going backwards. It just blows my mind. So anyway.
So speaking of meeting up, right? Why don't we tell our audience what you mean by that? Who are we going to meet up with?
There's another march that's happening. Oh, Melinda, did you want to go? Sorry.
Oh, no. She was talking to you. I was just going to say we're meeting at Walgreens at 8:30 a.m. on Saturday at Fishhawk. That's where our group is meeting to car parade, and then we're going to have a car parade from there down to Tampa with all the signs and things on our car. So we will have a presence on 75 going to downtown. That's
so we're going to start with us, and then we're going to meet up with Christy, and then we're going to meet up with Kristen with Our Bodies, Our Choice. There she is. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, how are you?
So this is Day of Parades and Women's Rights. So tell us a little bit about your organization and your parade and the time and how people can get involved and that sort of thing.
So we are meeting up with Christy, like she said, at City Hall. We're going to start our march from Perry Harvey Park. It is located about 4 minutes away from City Hall. So it's going to be a short march there. However, we are all inclusive. As much as we appreciate working with womensmarch.com, allowing us to host this march, we are open to all genders, races. We wanted to focus on the inclusivity aspect of it all. I'm 23, very young. Just moved here from Arkansas, and we
Fishhawk, yay, neighbor.
So I met a group of excellent people, non-binary, of all races. I have BIPOC leadership on our team. We have a bunch of wonderful women who are helping put together. So whenever you come, just wear, like Christy was saying, your right shirts, the keep abortion safe and legal. We definitely want to focus on the other aspect, not just the women's march. So keep that in mind when coming down to us. But we are requiring face masks, so for COVID purposes. And other than that, we'll be parking. We're working right now to figure out a good parking situation, just because of how many people we have. As far as I know, though, just park in the Perry Harvey parking lot, and if you can carpooling would be great. Like Melinda's doing a nice car parade where you get all your friends together, decorate your cars, and then ride all together. And we'll be doing around a mile and a half of a march after we leave City Hall.
And so I'm very landmark oriented, so I'm not familiar with Perry Harvey Park. Where is that? What's a good landmark around that?
It's Perry Harvey Park.
Oh, Perry Harvey. Well, that would be reason I didn't know as well.
You're good. It's right across the street. Well, not the street, I should say, the river from Julian B. Lane Park. So pretty close to UT, University of Tampa.
Okay. There you go. That's a landmark.
Yeah.
So good. And we have one other. And then, Melinda, where else are we going to go if we had all the energy in the world? What would we do? Where would we go?
And at 4, we can go down to St. Pete and join the womensmarchflorida.org and Bands Off Our Bodies March. And that's Marina.
Hi,
Wells.
Marina.
Hi, Anna. Hi, everybody.
Hi. So tell us about your march.
Okay. Women's March Florida has been operating since the 2017 march in DC, when we took all the people up to DC, or held a march also here in town. So I think a lot of people know of our group, our organization, and Women's March Florida Tampa chapter has joined with Progress Florida, League of Women Voters, Pinellas Now, Women's March Florida, St. Pete, and Fired Up Pinellas to host a rally and then a march. We'll be starting in Vinoy Park. The rally will be at Vinoy Park, and there's parking garages, quite a few around. If you go to the website, tampabayoctober2.com, we're asking people to register so that we can have an idea of who will be there. And there will also be a map of the park and the parking areas and the handicap. There will be a handicap drop off and a location right next to the stage where people who may be in a wheelchair, or Melinda, if you make it out there, decide to come, you have access to it.
Access. Great.
Yes.
I mean, that's a lot. I'm just telling you, it does mean a lot when you're
it's important. It's very important.
A disabled person to have that kind of access. And I'm not disabled all the time, but I'm just currently
right now, yeah. And I'm glad that Kristen,
my eyes, it really has opened my eyes, especially when you're trying
to right.
Hmm?
And I was glad that Kristen also mentioned, the focus needs to be not only on women, but on the LGBTQ community, non-binary, and in particular, one of the things that we've learned is that, we're a bunch of white women sitting here right now, right? We're not the most affected in a ban like this. We will not be, even if you're young and of the age to have children or want to choose to have an abortion, we're still not the most affected. The most affected will be the Black and Brown communities, the Indigenous. And so it's very important, I think, that we give voice to them. And that's what we're trying to do. And from what Kristen said, they're also trying to do in the group. And that's just wonderful. That's what we is the most important, because you know what, we're going to find a way as white women, not me, because I'm not in that group, but we'll find a way to have a safe abortion. That's not true for everyone and not possible.
Well, I think I think you also need, as some of our viewers will know, that this, if it doesn't impact us directly, it impacts us in so many ways indirectly, in terms
Absolutely.
of healthcare, in terms of having enough people for different jobs and childcare and just schooling and funding for that sort of thing. There's been so many studies, and I don't want to refer to the infamous Freakonomics study, which everyone knows about, but the impacts of this could be huge from a societal perspective.
And
I mean, it's all about keeping it safe for
safe.
people.
Exactly. I mean,
people need to watch Dirty Dancing to see what happens if it's not safe.
That's true.
And because abortions will continue even if they take the legality away. They
find a way.
Absolutely.
Now it's going to be now.
So
and that's why that's the whole one of the of this, and our generation doesn't necessarily remember that, because since I was 18, it's been legal. It's been a legal option. So the younger generation is not going to know necessarily the horrors of trying to find a way to have a safe, not being able to.
So, I thought it was interesting, Marina. I haven't been, I commute back and forth to Florida now. So you were telling us a little earlier, what is the implication oop, and she's gone, of course. Oh no, there she is. Yay.
No, I'm here.
So what's happening in Manatee County and how you were equating that to Texas?
So we originally were going to hold our march earlier in the day and discovered that there's the Manatee County Board of Commissioners is trying to pass a ban on abortion in that county, and which is interesting in and of itself because they don't have any abortion clinics, not a single one in Manatee, and yet they're determined to be the first ones in the state of Florida to ban abortions. And what we learned, or what I've learned, is that in Texas, Lubbock, the town of Lubbock, Texas, passed an abortion ban, and then 18 days later, the state of Texas banned their abortion ban. And so the fear, of course, is to have not just Bradenton, but Manatee County pass an abortion ban to lead the state towards this. And of course, we also know that legislation has already been listed for the upcoming session.
Yep.
In the House, there's a House bill for banning abortion in the state of Florida. So it's coming. We know they're going to try to do this. And also, October 2nd was picked because the Supreme Court goes back into session on October 4th, Monday following, which is why Women's March and all these groups chose October 2nd to make our voices heard now and start, making a lot of noise and letting them know that, and not even just, we were talking about women and the non-binary, there's an awful lot of men who are affected, even if they're not in an LGBTQ or non-binary, the men are also affected, right? They sure are. So I hope to see the men come out too. We may be called the Women's March, but this isn't just about women. And this is about, like Anna said, healthcare. It affects us all.
Education funding.
Absolutely.
Just in terms of we've talked about on the show many times the wage gap, or the education gap is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and this would just, unfortunately, it would add to that. So it impacts us in many different ways, not us personally, but I think we need to understand or portray to our viewers how it does really have tremendous impact. And it can
Think about a family
everyone.
May be faced with a horrible choice of a child that's severely disabled, and it would impact that family financially forever. There's lots of reasons, and it should just be between the woman, her doctor, and her family.
It's an individual's health choice,
Yeah, and it's about our bodies too.
You don't have to be pro-abortion to be pro-choice, right?
Right.
Allowing the individual to make the choice for themselves. How dare the government tell me what I can do with my body?
Exactly.
And we're not doing it.
I think we need to organize a march on Tallahassee evidently next. We need to all band together and head to Tallahassee next. Yay!
Well, Women's March Florida will be going to session.
Well, I can organize a car parade. I love a car parade. Let me tell you.
So just
Florida Tampa has a chapter, and so keep in touch. I wanted to say too, when you were talking about what to wear, we do have T-shirts still available to order online, and I think they're going to put the our Tampa Bay October2.com up, and you can go there for information. You can order the T-shirts up until Wednesday. And
is this T-shirt? Do I have it on?
No, it's going to say "Bands Off Our Bodies."
Oh, okay, all right. I don't know what I saw. I just saw this. I thought this represented everybody, so that's why I chose it.
Yeah. Well, this is for the specific event. And,
okay.
You can pick them up in St. Pete on Thursday, Hillsborough on Friday. It will tell you. and or at the march.
So information will be available on our site. I hope Erin will provide all the links. But before we let you guys go, let's kind of do a round robin so we can go to each of our guests and make sure they can plug their parade and their time for our viewers. Obviously, again, this will all be on our website, on our Facebook page, on our Twitter, on our YouTube, but Instagram. So Christy, you want to start with you and then we'll go around?
Sure, absolutely. And I want to just echo what Marina was saying. The fight's not over after this. I mean, this is just one day of action. We're going to have to continue to fight. So I hope everyone who's tuning in and comes to one of these marches or knows about it or can't make it this time knows that there's going to be a lot that we have to do in the next couple of months to battle this, where it's not over after October 2nd. So just throwing that out there. But our march is at 10 o'clock at MacDill Park on Saturday morning. That will be a 3-mile march. If you cannot make 3 miles, that's okay. Come at 1 o'clock, join us so we can meet up with Kristen for her march at Tampa City Hall. So please come out and join us. We'd love to see you there.
And then Kristen, we're going to meet up with you.
We're going to meet at Perry Harvey Park. If you need an address, I believe that they're going to link it on their page. We're going to do a rally, and so we'll meet at 1 and probably start to head around 2, maybe 1:45, just to go meet up with Christy and her march at City Hall, where we'll do, I guess, a little rally there, and then we'll head back to MacDill Park, where we'll continue either marching back to Perry Harvey or whatever you so choose.
Ooh, I don't know what that was. And then Marina?
And then when you're all fired up and you're like, yes, I want to tell more, come on over to St. Pete and Vinoy Park at 4 o'clock. We'll be having our rally with speakers. And then we will march just around the pier area. And so please come out. It's Women's March Florida. I'm with the Tampa chapter, but there are a number of groups that are organizing together over there. So make 1, make 2, make all 3. That'd be fabulous.
Yep. So just to reiterate, we have Hillsborough March for Reproductive Rights with Christy, Our Bodies, Our Choice at Tampa, and womensmarchflorida.com.
And it's Bands Off Our Bodies.
Oh, Bands Off Our Bodies. I don't know why I wrote that down. Bands Off Our Bodies. So lots of different places to choose. Hopefully you can make it to one of these, if not all of them. I'm very excited about it. And then Melinda has her own Fish Hawk one starting at Walgreens at 8 a.m.
30.
Pardon?
30.
Well, you say 8 a.m. You say 8 a.m. You say 8 a.m. so people will show up at 8. You know how it goes. Yeah. Give them a few 30 minutes buffer.
Anna, there's also 2 other activities going on. There's sign waving at Winthrop in Riverview. I think the East Hillsborough Women's Club is doing that, the Democratic Women's Club. And then the North Tampa Democrats are also doing a sign waving. So I have a little infographic I can send all y'all that kind of lists all sort of.
Perfect.
And Bradenton's on there too.
Right? They're marching Bradenton as well at 11. I think
at 11 a.m. the march is in Bradenton.
So if you're closer to Bradenton and you want to participate there, that would be really awesome too. So just get out there and march.
We're on every corner.
Yep. So we can post all this on our website, so we can be the information source for all things March related.
Yay!
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for coming. I don't think we've had women, the League of Women Voters on. We had a lot of folks, but we haven't had so many guests at one time in a while. So we appreciate you guys coming on for a great cause, and hopefully we'll have a lot of participation. Feel free to like, follow, share.
Yes.
Sounds good. Thanks.
So thanks everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
So I feel like I got to go find my women's rights shirts, and I have them all from our old marches. I need to go dig them up.
Yes, I've had a hard time picking which shirt I want to wear because I also have grab them by the ballot. So
yes, that one you wore all the time.
I wore that all the time because I really like.
But you could change your shirt based on the march you go to, right?
Well, that's true because I have there's lots of options of marches. So
yep.
So will be able to. I know here it's SAT that morning, and then that evening is homecoming. So I hope that because we gave people lots of times and lots of choices, they'll be able to fit something into the busy Saturday, because it's a busy day.
Right. Right.
So.
So hopefully people can join us. Like, follow, share Cup of Joe with Anna and Sheila. Who do we have next week? Melinda, our booker.
Still working on it.
Okay, stay tuned.
And he said that he would come on the show, so I'm gonna.
If only we had time for him this time. We always seem to run out of time. He's always on deck to come on at any time, but we just never can find the time. Maybe next time.
We're working on it. All right.
You know what? Maybe he'll be at one of the marches, and we'll see him there.
Never know.
We can
absolutely never know. So
we can hit him up.
Yep. So we're just always looking for guests. So if anyone wants to come on, just say, "Hey, Melinda," because I'm the official booking agent. I would really like to come on the show, and that would be great.
Great. Well, I'll hope to see you this weekend at one of those.
I hope so
events.
too. I would be so tickled if you were there, Anna. I need you to come back.
I know. I need to come back.
Right. All right. Well, have a good week.
Okay. To Ruth.
Ruth. I don't have anything, but to Ruth. Bye.